God's blessing. Welcome back to our cozy den of the digital world. I'm Redrumtac, your guide to the wonderful world of gaming. As I continue the quest to play 1,000 games, remember to like, follow, and join alongside me for more adventures. Today, we're going to be the best defense attorney in Of the Devil. So, grab a drink and let's get to truthing. We're going to do, before I forget, we put a little timer on and we're going to start a new case. We're going to start with episode 0. Oh, there's an autoplay. You know, I love a good visual novel, but I thought this wasn't going to be a visual novel. Rain sizzles off neon above me. The summer showers create a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street, and a slight blunting of the night's ambience. You know, I'm liking the music so far. I'm liking the rainfall effect, and the art style. It's very unique so far, but it does kind of remind me of Danganronpa. Emphasis on flight. Lights, cameras, and constant noise, the city's gone insomnia, with the uneven heart rate to prove it. You know, I like that. That's actually really clever writing. There's no escaping the secondhand nervous energy of it all, but I'm plenty acclimated. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. As if I'm not careful, this client of mine's gonna die in jail. What? No, what? Morgan? Hi. Criminal attorney. It's hard to get away with muck duck these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there are hardly any shadows of doubt left. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Whether it's incandescent or neon or hollow, whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen, there's light shining on every last pixel of the map. Ooh, I like that. I like the analogy of like how everything is now on a screen and someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity, and anonymity is scarce, and criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. So you take whatever clients you can get, you don't balk at public defender work no matter the hour, and should you find yourself in one of the last dark quiet corners left in the whole world, well, milk 'em if you got 'em. Not that there's much else I can do until... I love that cut. Just instant eye look. My phone. Counselor, your public defender contract has been approved. You're expected at the 254th precinct. Present your ID at the door. Arrive 15 minutes early. I'll try. Oh, Morgan, that's me. Whenever I try to, get anywhere, be it on time, I'm definitely someone who has to, set my alarm 30 minutes before so that I can actually show up on time and not be late. Otherwise, I'm, fashionably late, as they say. If you're like that too, let me know. I find it's really there are two types of people in this world. People who are late and people who are never late. And I like to be a mix of both. I like to be a mix of sometimes late and sometimes not late. Because now that I'm here, things are going to get busy. Of the Devil, episode 0. And he shall appear. I get it. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Disable tutorials, you can turn them on in the settings. I'm gonna enable them, I've never played this. And I feel like if I disabled them, I'd be like, what do I do? How do I do things? Suspect not found? Is this like a modern, prison? Precinct 254. It's a ghost town with nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. I'm here about a high clearance rate be danged. You'd think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. If I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work, you gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a stuffing what you have to say. But let's see if I can poke around and shake some change loose. Halt! Heads up. Press the phone button or tap the phone icon to access the menu. You can toggle auto-advancing tags. Look around for points of interest. And you'll earn credit for investigating anything and everything you can. Credit is a measure of your information gathering skills and your own credibility. So don't go broke. Ah! Oh, that's so cute. Look at the little king's card there. Oh, interesting. Okay, I can look around and observe stuff. Read. A data pad? I'll bite. What? Gotta spend it to make it? My chips? Even when they're more advertisement than article, they can be informative. In a flowery, roundabout, corporate propaganda sort of way. Keep an eye out for articles in the environment. They offer insight on the world around you and credit towards your investigation. Articles are added to your reading list after you read them. Choose the proper takeaway after reading them and you'll earn additional credits too. What's the proper takeaway? That's a lot of reading that I really don't know how I feel about if I want to read that all. Subway fixes asked City to refocus on Canopy. You know, I heard a speed reading trick was you read the first sentence and then you read the last sentence and then that's it. And everything in the middle's just left. So, declaring the subway tunnels to be irreplaceably flooded, engineers announced this week that all plans to drain and repair were being suspended. Civil engineering efforts will be refocused on maintenance and expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure system, the canopy high above our city streets. So, online chatters reacted to the announcement, and voters' attention focused instead on the growing investigations into Councilman's long campaign finance irregularities. As one of the canopy's major backers in City Hall, Long has often found himself at odds with a small but vocal group of critics. People and corporations alike have little choice for how they complete their morning commute. Already considered by many to be a rising star in infrastructure, tech startup Subterra made headlines for a system of personal submarine taxi pods. The first prototype for the city came in at a disappointing 3,356% over budget. Though one council member was quoted as calling the system mind-bogglingly wasteful and impractical. Terra has declared their intent to resubmit their proposal package. It appears that you have 0 free articles remaining this month. Please verify your account information in order to continue reading the stories that matter. Okay, I love that little last quote there because that's like every time you want to read a newspaper article, they put a paywall, and then this is how you don't get, news of the world because you only read the free articles, not the paid articles. As if I'd reach for my wallet after having to read a word like aesthetical. The takeaways that the cities will be focusing its effort on the canopy, Subterra. I think it's going to be the canopy. Now that there's There's no plan B. Nice! I got that. See? I didn't have to read all of it. Speed reading tricks. If you don't have the pleasure nor the time to read everything, that's a good way to do it. A police lineup. That's what they're called. I'm so silly. I forgot. I was like, a prison? Not a prison. A police interrogation room. We're at a police station. Oh, that was silly of me. Can't believe I thought this was a prison. Though museums tend to feel expensive and clean, dusty, forgotten, lots of unpacked boxes. This department's more like an attic. Hard to believe that they were so busy they had witnesses making IDs in the lobby. It's hard to believe they were doing lineups in the first place. Poking holes in the setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel, and all during billable hours. There's no room to sow doubt anymore, not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording. Assuming their phone didn't file a police report for them. Interesting. Oh, I can inspect the bench? Pragmatic brutalism, so textbook it can teach freshman level architecture? That's silly. You can almost hear the building drone on and on about concrete and iron and hard right angles. The sizzle pounding equivalent of battle scars. From a fight won so long ago that they're starting to look ridiculous. I'm sure it was all very imposing back when it was built. But walking in here now with crime rates where they are, feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness. Okay, I guess that was everything that I can inspect. And I feel like the front desk is going to be the next thing to move on to. Conducted for us in. Looks bad, but my phone's made of the same stuff, and I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa. So we have a log. Whoops. An autoplay, terms. Okay, some terms about... Wait, why did my phone change? Yeah, I had it at the top and now it's different, and it's just... messed me up for a second, messed me up. But I'm really excited to, enjoy this game. So far, interesting game compared to what I've played before. Even at this hour, it's scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-to-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia. But there's a few missing persons too. 1 year of silver plan coverage courtesy of Codicius as a reward. Silver's no joke, family must be getting desperate. I've taken in the scenery and learned as much as I can. Time to get checked in. Oh, it's a hologram! Oh, and she looks like a police officer. I really like the unique art style of this. So interesting. I don't really come across art like this, so I appreciate unique art styles. Could you please provide your name and great. Please stand still for a moment. I wouldn't call intake hollows charming, more like harmless. And that's probably what the designers were aiming for. Was that a fourth wall break reference there? Is that what they thought? They were like, oh, let me just break the fourth wall by saying the designers made the hologram friendly looking. I'm having trouble placing you. Can you provide your name? Scan my card, scan my face. Why don't you just scan my ID card? Why did they even bother asking? That's true. Oh, I can pick a birthday? October 25th, November 16th, December 26th. Can I check my phone? Profile? Morgana? Okay. You know, I was just gonna guess December 26th. I should have said it. That would have been freaky, right? And been like, you know what, I'm gonna go with December 26th. And then bam, I pull up her profile. And it's is her date of birth? I had no idea, I just guessed. Third sense guessed December 26th. Thank you for your arrival and for taking on the defender contract. You're ready to speak to the client. Proceed to the quarter 3C. You mean the interrogation room? My vocabulary is updated to reflect state standards. Aww. They could call it the involuntary wellness check room if they like. That is funny. That is true. It's a lot of like interrogation room, and they just called it the holding room or the waiting room. Nothing to see but the reflection wrapped across gunmetal walls. Choices that progress the story will cause other options to shrink away when selected. Choices that will take the conversation down side paths and before returning to this point will not. Because of the article you read, you've unlocked an additional choice in this dialogue. Read and examine at every opportunity to build up knowledge and get the most out of every conversation. Why the despair? Disrepair. Why is it dusty? The facility is undergoing renovations. Since when? It's been 22 months. Since the timetable was last updated. Oh, I got some chips for that. Thank you for asking. Well, that's all that matters, right? So, what are you? And no thanks. I'm a smart user interface proudly sold by Noble Electronics. Now, for some reason, I read Noble Electronics and all I could think of was Samsung. Don't know why. Not Apple, not Google, just... Anyways, if you're interested, I could send you a link with information about our subscription packages. No, sorry, that was a mean question to ask. Thank you. Aw, Morgan can be very polite. I like our criminal defense attorney so far. I wonder who the client is. I wonder what they're being accused of too. You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office. Through the door to the right. Acts don't get breaks and they don't get my jokes. But it's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with. Oh, Morgan. A voices coming from down the hall. A building this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. And a young voice and an older voice? Definitely cops. And at this precinct, at this hour, they might be the only two living people in the whole complex. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in hand. Makes them think you know him better than their priests or mothers, their big brother. I wasn't gonna say that. So how many of those sheets were blank then? More people! No red carpet tonight, officers? Good cop? Are they good cop, bad cop? That's funny if they are. Bad cop. You the lawyer? I am. Morgan Esquire, pleased to meet you. Wait. Profile, Morgan. No, just Morgan. Criminal defense attorney, likes puzzles, smoking, wooden furniture, dislikes commercials, hairdressers, and jogging. Can fall asleep in any position. Coffee, decaf, drink, whiskey sour. Okay, those are some solid profile choices, you know? Same here, counselor. And Farah? I got new profiles. Farah Rice. Homicide detective 3rd class. And Quasim London. 1st class. Okay, so I guess I don't know much about police hierarchy, so I'm assuming first class means more senior, and third class means junior. No, it's no trouble. Give me time to enjoy my cigarettes. What are you, 80? She can't be more than a few years younger than me. We're the detectives in charge of this case. It looks like tonight we're your humble guides to the department. Apologies for the cobweb. Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. He never struck me as more than just some old-timer. But I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in this profession. Sunshine is a new face, though. Rigid in her position and attitude, 3 in the morning, and her shirt looks iron. Freshly promoted, maybe? 2 detectives working at this hour? Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene. Aww. Oh, they're the yes, the 2 detectives on the case. We were only tapped after circumstances at the scene indicated involvement with an ongoing investigation. Our ongoing investigation. But I might as well bite at this point. So you suspect that the client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity? Wait, did they really not? I guess they wouldn't put it in the public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a professional courtesy, a fair warning. That's the heartbreak killer in that room. And we've got them dead to rights, so if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass this storm onto some other night owl and go back to bed. Wait. Fill me in about the heartbreak killer? They cover utility? Okay, seems like we know a little bit about our potential client. HK is what they're calling it for short. I've heard enough of HK for a lifetime. That name has been plastered all over the city for weeks, their crimes wavering between breaking news and urban legend. Their presumed goals flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism. At street corners and the media on the net, everyone's indulging in the exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand. But right now I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. And when it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. Facts. I take it he's a repeat offender? Media's gone crazy with it along with everyone else. 1 bullet straight through the heart. Body left to lie where it falls. Hence the name Heartbreak. Not exactly creative, but the catchiness triumphs originality. What you won't read about online is that all 6 of their victims were shot by the same gun without needing to reload. Horrible to say, but 6 for 6? That's pretty good shooting, isn't it? Hitting the bullseye at a shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great, but shooting 6 people with accuracy like that? It's a different beast. Makes a certain kind of monster a real freak. Wolves didn't even rise. Sounds horrific. I should say, they're paying more attention to the news. How I managed to miss 6 of them. You can only blame yourself for missing 5. Pardon? You're not getting this? The 6th victim was found a few hours ago, when we caught the muckducker red-handed. So you're convinced that my client is this heartbreak killer and tonight was just the latest crime? That's a serious accusation with very serious consequences. Red-handed, we found your client. They were covered in blood. Well, that's not good, is it? Oh, I love the artwork in this scene right now. Just look at it. With the red turning into blue, really emphasize getting caught red-handed. So good. I love the unique art style. How does one crime scene make him look good for the other cases? All there in the discovery files and the arts, of course. Join the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need. Thanks for that, Detective. I'll be sure to read it over. But if it's all the same, could I ask you two some questions while I've got you here? What kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives? Oh, working such a silly attorney. Let your clients do the interrogation all night. The counseling quarters? Nice! I get to do a little search. Okay, profiles. Heartbreak. Ooh, our mysterious criminal. Favorite color? Probably red. Zodiac sign? Probably not into astrology. Reward? Suspended due to influx of false reports. Okay, articles? Yep, remember the subway? Save game, load game, evidence. Customized phone? Organ time charm? I don't have any store credits! Charmlet? Aww. I love having a phone charm. It's like, why don't they have little hooks anymore on phones so that you can put a little phone charm on it? And they used to make it with, I think, the headphone jacks long ago, I think. And then they used to have like the little hooky parts that you could just put a phone charm on, and they don't do that anymore, and it's kind of lame. I kind of miss phone charms. Make your phone look so cute. Okay, let's get to sleuthing. Is she new? She hasn't had time to unpack, or is she really that uptight and boring? Both, maybe. Okay, so I inspected the desk. There's an article. Latest noble androids receive warm welcome. What? Androids? Bolstered by earnings report and surging sales of the Animate 16, Noble Electronics stock rose 3% this week. Many investors were skeptical when their infamous 2084 trade convention Noble announced the 16 line would be the first generation of androids to feature over 50% organic components, so-called warm androids. I don't know if I like anything about this article right now. We're looked down upon as impractical due to increased maintenance costs, cuts, scratches, bruises, and the like. And while some critics voiced concern, Noble was alienating its customers in the industrial and military sectors in order to cater to civilian consumers. However, as has often been the case in the last decade, Noble's doubters were proven wrong. The Animate 16 is poised to break profitability records. As much in the earnings report, much of the success in general can be attributed to the remarkable lifelike personal charm of the product, the work of Noble's famed lead programmer, Dr. David Asher. Noble Industry Weekend! It's because of his turning solution that every Noble product are so beloved. While his reputation was on full display, Dr. Asher himself was nowhere to be seen. He's become reclusive, but he's been a genuine hermit in recent years. Are we really to believe he's still? Hey fam, looks like you're not logged into this device. Want to put in your account info so we can help keep you reading? Oh, they got me again! I thought I could read a whole news article. Oh, too frail. Yes. If these warm androids bleed pink all over themselves every time they take a rock to the cheek, just an endless stream of bad photo ops waiting to happen. Oh, I can inspect this? Oh, it's just the other detective's desk. He looks like a paranoid type. Oh, and then I can go. So I guess I'm done kind of looking through the room. I can't speak with the other two detectives anymore, so I'm just gonna observe. No room in the budget for making the office not look like garbage, huh? But I didn't think the operation would be this bare bones. Yes, the city sees and assumes their job is easy. Maybe the job is easy, with their dear dotting surveillance state eliminating so much of the footwork. But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased, so they end up as the only department with a shrinking budget. And least popular. Nothing else jumps out. Should check out the crime scene data, and I've been sent a link. You've been granted access to state files regarding KL 433511. Reply C to confirm. You need to reply C in order to confirm. I'm an automated dependent. Ads! Like automated ads are usually more polite. Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences. It's case sensitive, thank you. Ah, nice. What's this? User portal? Should I be concerned? Augmented reality crime scene? Okay, this would be pretty cool technology. You just get to like revisit different places in the world and what they think is important. Okay, we've got a little thermometer. You think that's Celsius or Fahrenheit? It's either way. 27 Celsius is really warm and 27 Fahrenheit is very, very cold. I guess it might be cold because of all these little dusty particles in here. Must be cold. A stand-up mirror, shattered and knocked over. A glass, no screens or camera here. It was hit hard enough to come unattached from the arm, while shards of glass are scattered. What a mess. I inspected that. The face, there's a scratch on it. Must be pretty durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Okay, the item, a revolver found next to the body. 6 empty cases found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. Looks like the crime scene techs practically disassembled the thing, but all they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. So he was found the police with the weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement. And now the body. Cause, ballistic trauma, class 4, blood loss, atrium and aorta. Those are parts of the heart. Single shot, wound to the heart and brief. Death was instantaneous. No injuries elsewhere, no blood on skin. So likely, they were standing in the doorway when they fired. That's all the big ticket items. What about security? The apartment was unlocked all night, and it's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this. But no signs of forced entry. Only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's a lounge chair that got thrown and whatever that is. Unidentified ceramic debris? Flagged as irrelevant? That's their technical assessment? Guess even crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Hey, that's everything the police highlighted. Did I miss anything? I don't know. I don't think so. No, I don't think I missed anything. No, right? No? Something in the victim's hand? How did they? It's an organizer. Some adjusters, and SAIDs, and triprexine? English hard. A synthetic glucocorticoid medicine. I don't know what that word means either. Taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. Well, that explains what it does. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and it wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but irrelevant. But the kicker's everything that's not here. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, crumbs. Nothing that points towards anyone except my client. Well, I've done more or less, but not much more. I'm glad I went back to the scene. The augmented reality to pick up on that little clue there. It could be something important. Currently texting with Brat. She's called Fred too! You know, how many games have we come across where the characters are just called Fred? I know it's not our first one, but it's just such a nice surprise. Got a job for you? Not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard. I need you to sue my gym teacher? Not that kind of lawyer. Make me run laps, not illegal. Let me finish. They made me run laps, even though I said I had a tummy ache. Gotta be like youth endangerment. Depraved indifference or something. Try self-representing this time. Aww, Brat. Is that your mugshot? I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction. Aww, I guess this was someone else I know? Is it HBK? That's the kind of thing kids your age talk about? Teens my age? We can read compared to the corrupt stuff in the headlines. Old-fashioned muck ducks like Hardy B? Hardy B? It's like quaint. You see the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? Taking up lost cause? Probably nose work? It's pro bono. Oh, probe nose work? Pro bono. Typo. You know they give lit homework for a reason, right? Aww. I'm not a sucker. You should go to bed. Tomorrow's Sunday because today is Saturday. Once with the Carpe Diem, it's nearly 4 a.m. You got school in like 3 hours. On a Saturday? Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure. Aww. Morgan. Okay, androids and cops? I'm gonna go with that's the secret thing that I should talk about. I couldn't help notice your light on staff. I thought there'd be more androids around. Contracts with Nobel? Hardly. They're the biggest robotics corp there is. And we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here. But the talks never last that long. I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks for Nobel ads by the end of the month. Even with Nobel pushing those warm androids. Oh! I don't know why, it just makes me feel so inappropriate to say warm androids. It's like one of those cringe words for me. You know, like when people are like, oh, I don't like the word moist. I don't like how moist sounds. For me, it's warm androids. I don't like it. Don't know why, I just don't. Might as well call it the adult line. Might see him in the bigger departments, but not around these office. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective yet. Any day now? Yet, really? We already use ads for patrolling, securing the scene, pacifying crowds. Android detectives? With your warm personalities, I can't imagine. Well, we certainly don't want that, but flesh and blood witnesses are becoming less and less common anyways. Camera of sensors, satellites, we got all of our facts from machines. Give it a few more years, it might make sense to let machines do the investigating too. The police union wouldn't let that happen. You know, for the one line of text that I have read in this entire thing, because I know we're in like the future and here's the world that they've given us, of, you know, like androids and everyone being watched, and these are the last few people at work left. 100% I don't think the police union would ever let the high, well, I don't know if there are not high-paying detectives, but the police union probably would never let anyone with a high-paying job out of a job at all. I don't think so. I saw the time was 9 p.m. on the autopsy. What do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's event? We've managed thanks to less biased sources. We're confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements. You've interviewed witnesses? Sounds similar to real police work. The suspect and his girlfriends were arguing with one another starting around 8 p.m. Neighbors were very clear about that part. You know what's cool? Her eyes doing this like augmented screen thing, and you can see it's a different color. I love that. Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks, and they gathered from what you saw in the arcs there was a struggle. Furniture turned over, glass shattered, but things go quiet before 9 p.m. and then there's a shot. Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp, but we've heard from enough citizens to be sure about the time. Emergency services got a burst of calls from the block after 9 p.m. No one seems to recognize the sound for what it was, but the silence that followed was universally alarming. Officers arrive on the street at 9:08, establishing a perimeter, even through the open front door at 9:10, and then they find your client crouched over their girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood, at which point they move to secure the scene and the suspect. Did you say his hand singular? Your client's modded cybernetic right hand. Registered with a high 85 Habilius. Industrial grade looks like it. Says he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to class 4 KPOW, which means a minimum grip strength of, basically he could crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. No, it's just your eye must be sensitive for you to put the patch back on every time. And here I thought you had a 14-year-old sense of fashion. Think a cop would cover up her eye because it was fashionable? I thought the same thing the first time we met. Oh, I get it. I didn't even realize, like, I'm silly. I saw her with the eye patch, and I didn't notice she took it off to do all that reading. 8 days before HK's first victim. No chance they'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence. Your client was arrested on the scene after a scan found fingerprints on the revolver, and no one else's. A revolver of the real old kind. A caliber M54. I'm gonna go with that's a real gun, hopefully. I don't actually know. I don't know much about weapons. And I play a lot of games with weapons in them, so I'm kind of embarrassed. I should have been paying more attention to that. Tell me, don't tell me. Tell me if a caliber M54 is real. You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, gunpowder, no tags, 24/7 location data, timestamp triggers, safeties coded to owners biometrics. For the past 3 decades, tags would have made shooting crimes very unambiguous. So you're claiming the client used some kind of antique to commit crimes? How else do you think he'd have gotten away with this 5 other times? If he tried to buy a gun legit, he'd fail the very first psych check. And even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in. So then M54, that's model year 2054. A 30-year-old gun? So I guess we're in the year 2084? Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it? In some ways, sure. Ought to be less than 1,000 of them left in the country and fewer compatible bullets. The ammunition would be over 30 years old, too. The novelty of this weapon kept us in the dark so far, but now that we have our hands on it, we're gonna put him away for good. With the protocols we found, the techs were able to match the marks on all 6 bullets to the gun your client was found with. Rifling marks? Bullets sprayed from guns that old are marked by the barrel's shape. We know that they were all fired by the same gun. Not as plug and play as tags are, but it's precise science, I assure you. And if that's not danging enough, the spent cases from the 5 shootings are still in the chamber. The caliber your client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that. An untagged weapon? Just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... To summarize, you believe that my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend, and then retrieved the weapon and shot her? How did he look when the officers found him? Guilty? Okay, I shouldn't have laughed, but that was such quick wit that it was funny. Quiet, detached, stiff, not exactly the picture of a grieving partner. That reaction may have lost in points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways, and so as long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. Details. What exactly has my client been charged with? Your client, Carlos Baker Flatt, was arrested at 9:50. The charge being the first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Miss Diane Dawn. First degree, that's rare, to say the least. Rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. City's got more cameras than people. You gotta be really dumb to try and get away with murder. Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times, so what's that make him? 5 times, and that makes him insane. I was gonna go with extraordinary. Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But nupjocks like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. What makes you think this was premeditated? How about the fact that he stalked and muck-ducked 5 other women as a warm-up? 5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies crawling up and down their profiles, nothing. So the muck-ducker chose victims at random if they have nothing in common, other than they all look like cousins? The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes about the same height, comparable weight. While those features aren't uncommon, couldn't it be a coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. HK's got himself a type, anyone can see that. Oh, that's one of, I guess, our previous victims. Man, I feel bad whenever I see a game and the victims are all like one specific type. Be it like blonde hair, blue eyes, or brown hair, brown eyes, or black hair, dark eyes. It makes me feel bad. I'm just like, oh no, those are people I see when I go outside. And it's like, I don't want to think about real people. I just want to think about video game people. Right? So Carlos Flatt wanted to muck-duck his girlfriend badly. He went out and shot 5 other women first. If the shoe fits. If it's not that uncommon for muckduckers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. He was building up the nerve for tonight by practicing on other similar women. Or he's just so far gone that he can't tell the difference anymore. Not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. They want to claim that the previous victims were practice run. But if that were the case, they'd have been signs of hesitation, nerves. There'd have been mistakes, on top of which guns are impersonal execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Muckducking your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. If you ask me... What? What was that? Did I need a secret something? What was that? Was that a clue? Are we getting closer to solving the truth here? The less reputable sites are doing some real acrobatics trying to piece together a story. All kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few weeks. He's a genuine... Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species, and he's gotten away with... We know what he's gotten away with. National DNA registries are buff enough that cases never go cold, cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen, violent crimes at an all-time low and clearance rates at all-time highs. Wait, you gonna spout some alt-pol BS about invasion of privacy? I'm not. People are safer now than at any other time in history. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along... Aww... They maybe need to see someone charged. And that makes them predictable? Is that what we needed to know? When we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. Well, we can't take all the credit this time. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much info for us to leak. And why is that? None of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance system? How is that possible? I know that there are rough areas in the lower wards, but Optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this on camera once? Oh, that's a good twist. I like how the story has really been hitting it hard that this whole neighborhood, whole city, everything is under so much surveillance, and yet they didn't catch this happening at all. That makes it intriguing. That makes me want to know more about this mystery. One would hope so. Deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions. But it does have holes. Patching up the remaining holes take effort, and that effort means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved, but the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts, and the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict. Oh, so they gotta reboot stuff. And then when they're rebooting is when the window of opportunity appears. You need to be involved in law enforcement, public data, or city planning. If my client was a cop, he wouldn't have needed a public defender. His files say he's modded for heavy mass manipulation, not tech interfering, so that leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city? Each case only ever struck at times where optics would be down. Even with the devil's own luck, it couldn't possibly be a coincidence. When the woman was mucked up, there was a blackout from 8 to 9 tonight, right on schedule, so to speak. And it included the area surrounding the victim's apartment. Well, what about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match? There was no blood, saliva, or any DNA at any of the previous scenes. No motives, tampering, or witnesses. Like hunting a ghost, we didn't even have a weapon until now. No matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. Yes! Oh my goodness, I love that. I love a good murder mystery. I don't know why, because I don't actually like muck ducks. I don't like anything but a muck duck mystery? A whodunit? Now there's intrigue. Now I want to know why. I want to know the motive, the method, and the mystery of it all. I don't know. Is that a weird quirk to just like murder mysteries? Right? Strange, but I like it in a, how do I put it? I like it in like a literature kind of way, but not in a real world kind of way. And I don't know if that's weird or not. I can't be the only one. Like, plenty of people read murder mysteries, right? But weird thoughts to have. There's just not enough to work with here. Oh, the only thing they have to link my client to the other cases is the weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, the rest of their case starts to come loose as well. I think I understand the background well enough. I'll see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant, but it's a bit unrefined. We're not exactly gonna have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt, because we found a handwritten confession at the desk. That's, unexpected. You're now telling me he wrote a confession? Has it been verified? We have to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get to the front of that line. There's a copy in the discovery data, but I should warn you, it doesn't exactly make for light reading. I have to manage somehow. I need to see this confession for myself. Sorry for everything, can't say it enough, didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of it to happen, can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them, didn't mean to at first, but I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough, I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding, please forgive me. Barely legible, in fact. No need. Not a confession that he signed, though, is it? And not one he intends to sign. Especially since he asked for a lawyer. The most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer and got you. Guess you're both lucky. I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail now. I'm gonna go speak with my client. We have strong evidence pointing to the man being responsible for 6 cases. 2 hours or so in cuffs isn't cruel or unusual, and that's for your safety as well. None of them were redheads. I'd like to speak with him alone now. Camera's off if you don't mind. Mic's on or off is your call, counselor. But we'll be watching the feed from outside in case anything happens. And the cuff that is, stays on. Aw, now I'm really curious about our criminal. I'd suggest you help him sign the confession. Not a bad idea, I do get paid either way. But the defense part of defense attorney isn't just for show. 6 people gone is one thing, but he's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Put it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime if there ever was one. And if the penalty's not actually on the table these days, I'll guarantee he's not gonna like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw. Looks like I've seen the virtual work release program in person, and it's being challenged before the Supreme Court. Just remember, a plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from, well, it's probably a win for your client, right? Prison sentences are lighter for those who plead guilty, that much is true. It saves the court a great deal of time and money, and they show their gratitude with reduced sentencing, but no one will ever be grateful towards a heartbreak killer. anyone convicted for disappearing 6 people will never rest their mind another day in their lives. I can't believe it's still 3:30 a.m. Door 3. Can I look around now? Is that our suspect? Morgan? I really just love the art of this, like so much. Carlos flat. Hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. We've got a lot to cover. What are you? I told you people, I'm not a cop. What? I'm a lawyer. Oh, he's missing an arm. Right there. I thought he had an augmented arm. What did they do? All of them did. They said that they were going to help me, that they knew this was all a mistake, and they said that I acted like they were on my side and they thought that I could have, and it's my job to help you. If I approach this the wrong way, he'll climb up even more. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions. The police already questioned you, I'm sure, but they were treating you as a suspect, not as a client. So what do you want to know? About you? About... Oh, I want to go with one of these two. Okay, about you. I'd like to know about you, Carlos. What line of work are you in? I'm with city engineering. I should be. The police must be convinced he met the optics blackout using data he stole from work. My arm, I got it slotted for the job. So what do I know? He works in city engineering, not a desk job. Ray said... Oh, my timer went out. Okay, we're gonna finish with just this little part, and then we'll say goodbye to this game. Must be customary at the moment, but based on his shoulder, it'd have to be pretty... utilitarian? He doesn't strike me as the type who's enamored with aesthetics. The young and the restless, and the rich swamping in neon and chrome lens because they like it that way. Or the way it makes other people start looking at them. He's pragmatic, grounded, and unlucky. You know, my brother wanted to mod. Really? I don't even have a brother? Morgan! Then came his 18th birthday. That sucks. I think he felt relieved. Seems like it was a weight off his chest. He was glad he didn't have to choose. I always figured if I'd start it all, I'd start small. A hander and I test the water. Never thought about lobbing my whole arm off, but the recruiter was enthusiastic. Because of the NCDA, there was financial aid and resources. Now me and every other modder are screwed. Couldn't even let me keep the tax credit. The New Citizens with Disabilities Act was amended, not repealed. I worked the tighter spaces, the high-vault environments, mostly canopy upkeep. He's speaking freely now, don't need to do much more than repeat his words back to him to keep him from talking. That's clever! But the right word choice here or there can make a difference. Under a lot of pressure. Once word got out that the case against him was real, every desk job in the chain became terrified of their shadow. Everything by the book means no room for compromise, no room for problem solving, and no patience for screw-ups. Why aren't you wearing your prosthetic? Rejection issues started last month. A lot of sleepless nights. Did the therapy not take? It's not like that. I wasn't oozing out of my sockets or anything. Not in the way you're thinking. I'm right-handed. So the cuts on his face are from shaving? Aww. The problem started small, trembling, but then spasms, oversensitivity, they said, an easy fix. But the problems got bigger, couldn't let it get that far. Needed to be able to trust your own hands when you're on the job site, drop a cutter at the wrong moment, and people get hurt. So I sat down, made an appointment, turned in my arm, and watched my case get placed at the back of the line. No mass turnaround chop shop with a lady. It's like you wouldn't. as long as I'm renting and not owning, the manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance. And that's why I'm sitting here with this expensive stump for a shoulder. Haven't been able to work in weeks. Bosses were generous enough to say my position might now be there, and I've got 2 working arms again. You couldn't buy or rent a replacement just in the meantime? Aw, Carlos. And they've got exclusivity contracts with Indy? All locked up white knuckle tight. How Industries? He's registered with one of their habilis models. I'd lose the down payment in my arm. I'd never work in the city again. This was last quarter. Maybe I could have worked something out with management, but no one's sticking their neck out for anyone now that Long's in deep. Aww. Oh, this game. Well, thank you so much for joining me in Of the Devil. If this video made you smile, please grace it with a like and consider following for more fun. And don't forget to check me out on socials for any more updates. And as we step away from our mystery and prepare for our next gaming adventure, be kind to yourselves. And remember, there's light even in the darkest of tales.